Good evening, welcome to Full Time Reds. It's me, Chris Brack, and it's my partner in crime, Kev. You all right, Kev?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Not too bad at all.
So finished full time. RB Salzburg 1, Liverpool 0. It'll be fair, a pretty exciting game to be honest. What do you think about it, Kev? Because I'll say social media wise, it's a mixed reaction.
Yeah, I couldn't care less, to be honest. I enjoyed the game for what it was, and there's an awful lot more positives than negatives to take out of it. It's exactly what we needed at this stage. A side who weren't afraid, who were in the middle of they've started their season. They're 2 games in. You could tell they had a bit of match sharpness about them, and they were aggressive when they needed to be. And it was a good runner. It was a good test for where we are. And when I saw the starting lineups, I just thought to myself, okay, this is being treated for what it is now. It's a preseason game where you want to get fitness in as many players as possible. And since the Leipzig game, they've been working hard. You know, the double sessions and what have you. It was telling that they've really put a week in, and it was 80% of the game I was happy with. 20% of the game I thought, yeah, that'll come. You know, I'm not expecting perfection in preseason, but for the bits that I was happy about, I was happy. For the bits that I was annoyed with, I'm not over the top annoyed. It's stuff that'll come over the next week, 2 weeks when we start taking football a bit seriously. Because at the minute, it's a game for a purpose. It's not a game that the be all and end all. There's no points involved. There's no trophies at the end of it. There's no advancing to the next round. It's minutes and legs. It's fitness and sharpness, and all of that will be better for tonight.
I'll be honest, mate. I'm jumping at the point with preseason games is I'd rather they weren't shown. I know why they have to be. I know commercially they have to be, but it's just generally becoming an excuse now for if you want to be miserable, you'll fucking find something miserable. Or if you want to, basically, if it's a player you don't like, people are going out the way now for certain players to have a go at them. Even when actually they do okay. Like, look, we all know Curtis Jones is the latest lad that everyone seems to now be. He's got to do this. He's got to do that. I thought he was perfectly solid centre mid. Don't think he did anything spectacular. Don't really think he did it wrong. Keita, I thought was quite inadequate for him. But again, I'm like, it's a preseason game, you know. Ooh. It happens. But I didn't. I thought Keita probably vacated his spot too much and left the two young lads to do a lot of tidying up work. I thought the young lad, Bajetic, is his name? There you go, Marquez got his name up here. I thought he was really impressive. Yeah, I thought he was really impressive first half. He did what you want a DM to do, kept it neat, kept it tidy. You know, probably if you're being hypercritical, there is an element of physicality and mobility he lacks, but I think that's more of an age thing because he's only 17. Playing against men, that is good, but that will come. That's not fun. And then the young lad, Mbea, he's very raw, but Christ, you can see the potential's there. The potentially definitely there for him. And look, do I expect to see Mbea play again this season for Liverpool? Probably not. I think he'll have a season in the under-23s. I think it'll do him the world of good. But Bajetic potentially might have played himself to get some League Cup minutes. But that's a good thing for pre-season. You do get to see some exciting youngsters because, you know, that's what you want to see. In terms of the rest of the first half, so let's go for the team. We had Adrian in goal, who, I'll be honest, I think he played the full game.
Yeah, he played the full game, yeah.
I thought he was sound. Pretty much. It was good. Did what you want. He's your third choice keeper. Can't ask for much more.
Yeah.
Ibu and Joe, I think apart from their involvement in the goal, more Ibu, we'll come to the goal in a bit. Perfectly solid. Joe looks pretty comfortable on the left side, which is good. Ibu, I think, was very good at the mop it up routine and, you know, sweeping behind. You know, we'll come to the goal. They could have done better. Midfield, we've already talked about Projetics did okay. I thought Jones was solid. Bit underwhelmed by Naby, but, you know, he's been good in other games. And then in terms of the front three, I thought Carvalho flitted in and out. There's still signs there, but, you know, he's a young player, so he flits in and out. Nunez did all the right running, tried hard, kept trying to chop back onto his right, which it looks good, but if you do it every time people read it, lucky not to score. You know, the one that came off the bar, he had a really good header, and a couple of chances where you're thinking, could have done better. And Elliott, again, just shows little flashes. I thought we saw the best of Elliott probably second half. But that's how I saw the first half. How did you see it?
Pretty much the same. Look, I'm convinced that Harvey Elliott is a midfielder. He can do a job on the wing, and he's all right at it. But to get the best out of him, he's in midfield. He has the extra space, and when he's got that 360 thing in his head. And Thiago has it. There's certain central midfielders that you look at and they see a picture, and I think he's that kind of central midfielder. The defensive side of his game, I think, will come with age and experience and nous. But I think him and Carvalho, the one thing that I think that they lack more than anything is that sharp 15-yard pace. Yeah. And you saw that.
Red Steve, sorry. FSG out, Klopp out, Ward out, Bracky out. Kev can stay, he's sound. Oh, well, fair enough.
Tidy.
I mean, to be fair, he's probably right, to be fair.
But the thing is, I think you saw it in the first half of Carvalho. The best thing that happened to Carvalho in the first couple of minutes is he got a clatter. And
he's going to have to get used to that.
Yeah, get used to it because he's going to get targeted. When he's got the ball at his feet and he's moving with it, it's just effortless for him. He's really, really good. The only thing that I think he got caught on, and I think he went quiet after it, he tried to take the fullback on the outside, and the fullback just ate him up. Now, I looked up the fullback after. He's 1.92 meters, which means he's about 6'5", 6'6". He's normally a centre back who plays right back. He can play right wing as well. So he's a bit of a footballer, but he's quick. He's quick over that short, because of his long legs, he's quick over that 5-10 yards. And I think Carvalho just couldn't get around him, and he quietened down a bit after that. I thought there was a couple of instances in the first half. There was a cross from James Milner on his right foot that was curling in towards the keeper that Nunez got a good header on. And it's those kind of runs that make me think, yeah, when he gets his match sharpness, Nunez will score goals. Because the positions that he finds himself in, the runs that he makes to create the chances are absolutely what you want to see in a striker. And the players that are around him are still figuring out how best to find him on the pitch. And that's why I think we'll talk about it towards the end, but I think it's going to be a case that he's going to be fed into the side over time. And it'll be something that'll be worked on. But when he eventually comes into the starting 11, I think he's going to be a menace, and sides are going to hate playing against him. He's quick. He's deceivingly quick. And for all the slagging that he gets about his first touch and his passing and that, I thought some of his layoff work was fine tonight. And it's only going to improve for him. Every player, I don't care who you are, but when you're coming from another league, another country, another culture, it takes time to settle anywhere. And he still hasn't lived in Liverpool yet. So, not really. So, Darwin Nunez got time on his side. He's going to be absolutely fine, I've no doubt about it. But I think Elliott and Carvalho are more suited to playing inside with fullbacks going around them.
Which we may see this could be the formation tweak that we talk about.
Yeah, I think
the 4-2-3-1, or even maybe it is Carvalho, Elliott, and Jones all fighting for the third midfield spot, and then it's Henderson, Thiago, Fabinho, Milner. To a certain extent, Kaiser fighting for the other two midfield spots, the more defensive controlling roles. That's what we could see. I mean, we know Klopp, he likes to tweak things. I mean, I'll be honest, Kev, I think we may have got this game wrong because there's an awful lot of negativity in the chat. And it seems to be what every player can't do this, can't do that. This player looks painful at this player looks painful at that. I've seen some saying Nunez shouldn't try and do the Bobby role. I watched the game. He wasn't trying to do Bobby role because Bobby doesn't do runs in behind and he doesn't try and stretch play. That's not Bobby's game. It never has been, and it won't be. And Nunez isn't dropping deep to try and link play. He's basically drifting out wide left, or he's going in, he's trying to get in behind. Yeah. So
I mean, the only thing that he was doing that I liked a lot tonight was that he was showing and then giving and going to spit in behind. That's what you want in a nine. That's what he did.
Yeah, I mean,
unless I watched a different half to everyone else.
Yeah, we possibly did. But then second half, so there was a couple of changes made at half time. I think
There was three changes at halftime. Bobby came on, Robbo came on, and Tyler Morton came on for Naby, which, in fairness, was needed. I thought Naby was poor. Let's be honest. I thought he was poor.
Yeah,
it was. I don't know whether it was a case he had the hump because he was playing with the second 11, or he's just knackered from a full week of double sessions. I don't know, but he just didn't look on it tonight. He looked. No, but wasn't it? He couldn't be bothered. It didn't look like his normal self. The one thing I will say, and I'll say it right the way through the 90 minutes, the pressing was brilliant. The work off the ball from everyone to Harry to get the ball back was really, really good. And it only picked up in the second half. It got better. That was something that in the first half that I thought was really, really good. And another thing about the first half as well, their goal. Now, Ibu got drawn to the ball. Fair enough. Bad mistake. It was poor communication.
But he should drop that. But he should then drop because it's actually his runner that scores. And instead, because he comes so far over, he takes Gomez's space on the left. So then Gomez is caught in no man's land because he can't get over to the right. Because what they always say is, don't crush your centre backs.
Yeah.
And look, that's just a bit of impetuousness from Ibu. But
it was a really, really good goal.
Cracking finish.
It was a Sissoko. Sissoko, Susic, Fernando, and Okafor. There are 4 players to watch out for in the Champions League, and if they don't get out of their group in the Champions League, which I think they probably will again, if they drop into the Europa League, they're going to be dark horses to go deep in the Europa League if they drop down into it. That Sissoko he's the next one on the conveyor belts coming out of Salzburg, and he's got size, physicality, pace, touch. He's got an ability to run off the ball. The 1-2 to create the extra space, to make the extra pass was brilliant. It was really, really good. Fernando is another one that he missed the open goal. It should have been 2-0. But other than the miss that he had, his link-up play around the 2 strikers was excellent. Okafor is normally a winger, and they've converted him into a second striker. He's another one. He's a cracking player. And Susic, I thought he played in centre mid. I thought he did okay, but I expect when they get into their season a bit more, we start seeing them in the Champions League come September, October time. We'll see a different Salzburg again, but there's a few players there that are really, really good.
This is the same Salzburg side that gave Bayern Munich a hell of a scare in the last 16.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they beat they beat Bayern 1-0 in Salzburg, and they lost. They got well beaten in the second leg, but they could have won that first leg against Bayern 3 or 4. They had enough chances in that first leg, so they're not up it. Plus, they're in their season.
Plus, there's a reason why for the last 2-3 seasons we're always playing both RB clubs, and there's a reason we went to RB Salzburg for consultation on building our new training ground. Is the way they're working things, the way they're doing transfers, the way they're doing stuff behind the scenes in terms of fitness and all that. Liverpool are also taking that because that's what they want, but they want to obviously doing it at a higher level. So there's a reason they do that, and it seems the perfect thing for Klopp. So right, let's get into the second half. So you said Robbo came with Milner. Makes sense. You're not going to make Milner do more than 45 playing at fullback. I mean, you didn't do anything wrong at fullback, but and again, there was a lot of chat about why if we give James Milner a contract, it's part of why you give him one, because he's the backup to the backup, isn't he? So he's the third choice left back, he's second or third choice right back. He's he can, and then he should cut midfielder, and then if so that's kind of what he's there for. That
cover across the 3 midfield positions. He can cover either flank on the fullback if for any reason your backup player at those positions isn't available, like tonight with.
But again, I think it'd be like last season. I don't think Milner will start outside the cup games. I don't think Milner starts as many as people think. I mean, I think last year, they said of his 30 appearances, 18 of them were less than 15 minutes. His actual job is coming off last 15 to shut games out, or play him in dead rubbers, or play him in. You've got to play Southampton away between a Champions League game. That's what you do for it. Dean Regan, just do us a favour. Is there anything that you thought was positive at all about pre-season or anything? Because so far you've pretty much done half the squad's been crap, and look, maybe that's your opinion, but I don't see it quite that way. And this is not rose tinted glass, and I think everything's fantastic. It's just it was a pre-season game, and I thought it did what it said in the tin. I thought it was just okay, and I do think the only mild concern I thought in this game was finishing was a bit sloppy, especially second half. But look, the levels went up
in the second half.
Yeah, the levels went up last Thursday, didn't it? Because obviously that's when the main lads came on. And look, it pretty much says the ones that go for the last half an hour, that's pretty much your starting 11 versus City, who are probably going to do close to 75 minutes, I would say, in the City game. Because I think you'll add 6 subs in the Charity Shield. So, and look, the level went up, the pace went up, the quality went up, which you would because they're the regular lads. Diaz looked all right, sharp. He still probably should do better with the one chance he had. I mean, the goal he had disallowed, he is offside.
He's offside. It's just Bobby needs to play that one touch earlier. One touch earlier and he's level. It's a brilliant run and a lovely finish. But it's one of those ones. There was another one as well where Trent ripped the ball cross pitch like he does. And he did everything right apart from getting it onto his right foot and finishing.
Mm.
It's probably the only thing in Luis Diaz armory. That
you'd like to be a bit more clinical.
Naby is going to be Sadio Mane is a miss. There's no doubt about it because he gives you a goal when you need one. And once Diaz adds goals to his game, he'll be absolutely fine.
You'd like to think he will because he's sort of proven
he does everything else really well.
Because he's proved for Porto in Europe, he can score goals. So we're only talking the Portuguese league, so I think it'd be fine. The results of the game is only important, but the performance is. I don't think the performance is that big a deal. It's the patterns of play and it's the fitness routine. That's what it's there for. I don't think it's anything else other than that, really. So, Mark Cameron is saying, any updates on Tsimikas? Apparently, Klopp said he picked up a knee injury in training, but he seemed quite.
Yeah, he didn't say it was anything. He just said it was a knock, and
probably a bit like the one like Gomez had. But I think Gomez missed the Palace game. He said it was just a knock. He literally trained the next day. The only injury that's been mildly concerning is Alisson, sorry. But he was on the bench. He's travelled. He was on the bench. And he has been training. So I think they just thought, why risk him? Because it's a bit different for a goalkeeper. It's sharpness, but you don't really need to build up the same level of fitness.
I mean, he'll do more work in a training session than he will do in a match situation, all the time. So as long as he's training, then I'm not worried about Alisson. But yeah, there's one thing I suppose nobody knew about Tsimikas until the team sheets were announced. So there's absolutely nothing coming out of the squad whatsoever. There's no. What was that? Anybody think Nunez used all his strength wrestling that fish he got caught the other day?
He did. I mean, that was a big fish.
That was a monster, wasn't it?
He did like Tarzan as well. Was there? To be fair to him,
Kevin Ball there is right. The Crevin Keller injury is a bit of a weird one as well. That's going on, and it's like,
because he's another one. He is susceptible to these random injuries when you don't expect them.
He had one where he fell off his bike as well and done his arm, didn't he? So
that's when we signed Andrea. That's when Mignolet said, I want to go. And Keller did his arm on falling off his bike. So part of the reason that's why we've got Andrea, to be fair.
Yeah.
But that is a concern because you'd like to see him get some minutes in these games. I mean, don't get me wrong. Adrian's done fine. And the young kid, Davis, actually has been really impressive.
I've been quite happy with him. But when they made the last lot of changes, I mean, Morton only came on for 15 minutes, so I have a feeling that his loan is something that probably will happen when we get back.
Yeah,
when they all come back.
There was a Blackburn reporter who claimed it'd been delayed for some midfield injuries, but again, the only midfield injury we've got is Ox. That's the only one. Everybody else is featured. So,
but the one thing that I thought that went up through the roof in the last 30 minutes was the pressing and the ball retention, and when we lost the ball, get it back again. The aggressiveness, it just went through the roof in that last 30 minutes. It was crazy. I mean, overall, the stats for the game, right? We had 75% possession. We only had 7 shots on target.
25 shots. I saw Andrew Beasley saying that's the third time under Klopp we've had 25 plus shots and not where we haven't won.
Yeah.
So
it
doesn't
happen often. And to be fair, their keeper made some proper saves.
How much does he look like Carriers? How much does he look like? He looks like Carriers, though, doesn't he? And then he said, and then he said he's another 21 German international. I went, no way, man. He looks
everyone in the world has a doppelganger, right? And he is Lawrence Carrier's doppelganger.
He looks like he's got better.
He
could actually stop balls, to be fair, and
he was really, really good. Bonkers with a good question there for who would you pick, Firmino or Nunez? Well, ask everyone in the chat. What do you guys think for the weekend?
I think Klopp's going to go Firmino because he's always started Firmino with the main lads. And I think if he hadn't got injured, it would have been Jota.
Yeah,
I think Nunez is going to get eased in. Use him for the second half. Build his confidence up. Which is, to be honest, it's been the Klopp way with 80% of the players. That the likes of the Van Dijks and Luis Diaz's are a bit of an anomaly, but in general, he likes to give players time to build in. So I don't think he has to start. I think he'll start on the bench and then you bring him off. Also, bringing him on against tired legs, that's going to scare the shit out of you. You don't really want that, do you? No. Mark A. Chris, Pop could cause England problems in this final. She could. She's got 6 goals now in the tournament for Germany, so she's joint top goal scorer for the tournament. Read a bit about her, actually. It's pleased for her because she would have missed the Euros if it had been in the original date because I think she picked a really bad. I think it's a knee injury. I think she's suffered a lot of injuries, but she's a very, very good goal scorer. So, that'll be a good final on Sunday. I'm actually going. Listen, I bought tickets with no hint of who I thought would be in the final. It's just more to take my daughter to a final because how often do you get to see an international final? It's very rare. Mm-hmm. So the fact that I'm taking my daughter and the home nation's in it, it's a bit of a bonus. But yeah, it was good. Yeah. Red Steve says, "Can we play Ox in the false 9? Not unless you bring out his wheelchair as well." That's the other thing you got to.
No, I think he goes with Bobby purely and simply because of the type of game that it'll probably be. It'll be a case of who can manage possession the best in this game. It'll be interesting with City because I don't know about anyone else. I haven't watched anyone else's preseason games.
I think City have a quick look. I was just curious what they've done. City have had 2 preseason games. The last game was Bayern. That was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 1-0.
1-0 Bayern.
I was flicking last night. I watched a bit of the Newcastle and Benfica bust up when I saw people on Twitter going absolutely haywire that Benfica and Newcastle were squared up to each other and what have you. So I flicked that on quickly. And I've watched a bit of Leeds. But other than that, I haven't watched much at all. So I'm intrigued to see how City do with Haaland and Alvarez.
I've got to be honest.
With what they've lost, but
I can only bring myself to watch preseason games from my own club because it's preseason.
Yeah,
I have no interest in watching other clubs preseason. I really couldn't care because again, you just watch them do a fitness exercise. You go, I don't give a shit.
Wade Nelson has a comment there. Klopp dilemma: how to fit Fabio in our midfield. We need a progressive player in the middle of the park and move opposition out of position
to open the game up.
Well, he's not going to be starting Carvalho in games anytime soon. I thought some of the takeaways from the first half of today's game is that Carvalho's got he's got a journey to go on, and he's not ready to be playing first team football straight away. He's just not there. He's physically not ready, and
he's a perfect.
Thiago is in the position that I think Carvalho's best position is in that left-sided 8 role, that left-sided centre mid. His energy and his work rate are fine. His running with the ball is good. His touch and his passing is fine. But I just think physically he'll struggle at times. I think he can be bundled off the ball fairly easily. But again, he's just come into the club, and he's got time on his side. When you've got players like Thiago and Luis Diaz in front of him, he's going to be making games off the bench. You know what I mean? And trying to make an impact that way. There's no mad rush for him. I don't think it's definitely not an issue for Klopp to try to fit him in yet.
But the 5 subs, gives you more opportunities to play, especially in games
Yeah.
where, look, let's do like a blue sky thinking. If you're 3-0 up against Fulham with 20 minutes to go, great. Throw on Elliott, throw on Jones, throw on Carvalho. Give them minutes with not much pressure, and then you take off your more experienced lads. That's where your rescue TR goes from injury. Daz from Daz TV wants to know what do you think of Jones' preseason so far? I think he's been solid. Some people, some would argue they'd like a bit more for him, whether that's attacking flair, but I thought he does the defensive cog in the machine role fairly well, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's just getting that balance right of trying to still get that little bit of flair, which he does have, because that's what he broke into side as, quite a flary. He used to play wide of a front three for the under-23s, so it's in there with him. But it's also difficult, I think, for someone like a Jones when in pre-season you're playing with all the youngsters together, because it's difficult. But I think he's done all right.
I think Jones has been okay, but the only thing I'd like to see him do, I'd like to see him move the ball faster.
Mm-hmm.
And when you saw Henderson and Thiago and Fabinho when they come on today, it's give, go, give one touch, go again. And
that's also experience though as well, isn't it? Which
and it's experience and confidence, but that's what he's got to get to. That's the level where we need him to be at. And at 21, I think I saw his interview at the start of the game. He knows where he needs to be. You know what I mean? He knows what he needs out of this season. These players aren't fools. They're not idiots. They see what we see. And more so because they're here. They're in the dressing room with these guys.
I mean, let's face it. Nunez has already seen all the shite that's spoke about on social media, and if you don't think he does, his social media posts prove he does. This is why footballers sometimes now coming off social media, because they can't be doing with all the over-the-top bollocks that they have to deal with. Owen Neal said, Klopp said it perfectly. In 2 weeks, we should look different. Pre-season is gearing up for this season. It is. That's ultimately what it's there for. But listen, it was an extreme circumstance, but I think the year.
Just chalk up Mark Kavanagh's comment there, and I'll come to it in a second.
This one,
yeah,
Kevin. Oh, you got full title.
I got
Kevin.
full title. Well, when somebody gives me full title, I'm like, my ears prick. I was like, it's like my mum is shouting at me down the road or something.
So Kevin,
you say.
Was that you say? Is what it's supposed to be? Okay, yeah. You say Carvalho needs time. That could apply to Elliott, Nunez, Jones. That leaves us with too many players needing time.
It's a fair comment. It's a fair comment to a point. The one thing I'll just quickly address it. The one thing I'd say to that is you're not going to be giving. You're not going to. I doubt it very much that you're going to be in a situation where all four of those kids are going to be in the same lineup playing in a Premier League game, surrounded by other young players who are 16 and 17 playing in midfield and a fullback. Do you get me? I think if you're Carvalho being dropped into a midfield with Fabinho and Henderson, or if you're Elliott being dropped into a number 8 role with Fabinho, Henderson playing a 6, and maybe Thiago on the left, and Nunez up front with Diaz on one side and Salah on the other, you'll see different players then.
You might see Jones start one game, and then next week it's Carvalho in the same position. The next game it's Elliott in the same position. You don't do all of them.
Yeah, I think all of the players, all of the new signings coming in. No, I know you weren't, Mike.
It's because you said Kevin. That's why that's why he sat up then.
Yeah, I know you weren't. I know you weren't.
It's a good point. No, it's a fair point.
But it is a fair point. But I think in the context of the squad where we're at now, bear in mind they've been doing since the Leipzig game morning and afternoon sessions. They'd have done a session this morning as well. So they've been training to the nth degree to physically drain them. And then, by the way, lads, go out and play the Austrian champions who started their season already. And they're going to be a decent side in Europe this season. Good luck. Have fun. Enjoy yourselves. Yeah. Enjoy the experience. It's just like, last week they were in hell. And now they get to go home to their own comfy beds.
He also did say something as well, Klopp, which was, now we have the pre-season. And he goes, and we'll be ready for the season. He goes, but his exact words were, not sure about Salzburg. That was his way of saying, you bastards are going to run. And you're going to run hard. So some of them, I think Salzburg was probably a bit of a relief. Like, Christ, I'd have to run as hard as I do in training. We'll bring it up because everyone likes to ask this question at this time of the year. Do you guys think we need any additions before the end of the window based on the squad at the minute? Short answer, yes.
We have different questions. We have different opinions on this.
I think we do, but I think we need to move someone on first. And it's not the buy to sell thing which gets everyone really upset. Is I think we've got currently 27 players that would be registered as first teamers, and I don't think you're allowed 25. Now, look, Phillips is going to go. I think Vandenberg was going to go. I don't think it actually counts anyway. So you actually need an Ox or a Keita to piss off to bring someone in. Now, where me and Kev differ is I would like a centre mid because of durability questions, whereas Kev, you'd like a right winger.
I'd like a right winger, a right-sided forward.
Because then it gives us backup for Mo, gives us flexibility. But the benefit of your position of a right winger is you're probably then only going to play 2 midfield, which then means that's less minutes for Henderson, Fabinho, Thiago, Milner, Keita to have to worry about. Because you're giving 4-2-3-1. 4-2-3-1, the 3 behind the 1, that suits an Elliott, that suits a Carvalho, that probably suits a Jones to a certain extent as well. So then, so I think the answer is we both think one more would be nice. Whether we get it seems unlikely at this point, I would say, and also we're seeing now desperation.
You throw Owen Newell's comment there about what Klopp said.
Klopp also pointed that a problem in the first half was not enough players around Nunez to draw defenders out to give him space.
It's a really good. Well, of course, it's a good point. It's fucking Klopp's point. The guy doesn't waffle.
It's almost like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a good spot on. Nice one. He's right, because when you look at what happened in the second half when Salah came on, I know, look, Salzburg changed their 11 at the start of the second half, and it was forwards against backs for the second half. But when Salah was on one side and Diaz was on the other side, you had Robertson and Trent there as well. They drew players to the ball, and that allowed us to play a lot of 1-2s in and around the box and get shots off and work the keeper. It was, it was one of those, wasn't it?
This last been linked to us, wasn't it? Recently, not Nico Williams, different Nick.
You on about Inaki Williams, or
this is his brother? This is his younger sibling. Apparently, who's a talented right winger for Bilbao.
Never seen. I know his brother. He's Inaki Williams. He's been around for a while.
He's been coming to Liverpool for about 10 years. Feels that way, doesn't he? Yeah. Well,
Inaki Williams is one of those strikers that
bit of an enigma, isn't he?
Yeah. Look, if it was me, I like Cody Gakpo.
PSV, yeah.
PSV, I like him a lot.
Arsenal link him at the moment.
Yeah, my thing is, if you're trying to convince a right winger who we are looking to attract, who we believe is good enough to come to Liverpool and make an impact, if Mo Salah is fit, Mo Salah is playing.
And he likes to play in the right. He doesn't like playing centre forward. So,
Dean, I'll have to look into him. I have never, ever seen him.
I literally heard about him 2 days ago, and I googled who he was. That's what I know. He's Inaki Williams' brother.
Chukwueze is another one. He played for Villarreal last season. He's a really good player. But all of these right wing options, you have to convince them that yes, come to Liverpool, but Mo Salah, when he's fit, he's going to play. You've got to convince that player that you will get your chances. And I think it's probably outside of what we've had to do with Trent, which is go to Scotland and get the best young under-19 talent that we could get to come in and understudy to Trent. I don't know how we get a right wing cover for Mo Salah after he's signed the extension to his contract.
It is, yeah, but then you hope you get someone with perhaps like the Jota mentality, which was because when Jota joined, it was still the front three, and everyone knew it was the front three. And said, "Well, Jota's a good backup," and he went with the attitude of, "Yeah, until you play me. Once you play me, you ain't dropping me." And to be fair to him, he forced Bobby out, and at times it was Jota, Salah, and another. Manny was down the pecking order as well. So, Kev Ball points out Gordon could be the long-term cover for Salah.
Could be. Yeah.
I don't think he's ready yet this season to be relied on regularly. He's only, how old is he now? 17? 18?
17. Yeah, he's 17 or 18, but he went on the tour, so he has been training, but he's only just coming back from injury.
Yeah,
so,
which is a shame. 'Cause it would have been nice to see him pre-season, just basically mostly how he's developed since last season more than anything else. I don't expect him to start anything, but but we will see. So,
We will
Kev,
see.
anything else you want to cover? Anything else about it?
Well, you're off to the women's final on Sunday. That should be a good game, actually. It should be one well worth watching.
Yeah, I don't really know which way that'll go because Germany are very, very good. But to be fair, England are very good as well. Actually,
looks like Everton are actually spending a bit of money.
Yeah, they've got some lad on loan who was at Wolves last year.
Vinagre, Ruben Vinagre is one. But it looks like they're getting that kid from Burnley as well, the winger.
Dwight McNeil, which is
Dwight McNeil, 20 million.
It's what Everton should have been going for. Is young, exciting talents like that. It's not a good group. It's not a good move for Dwight McNeil.
Well, it looks like they're getting the squad ready for when Sean Dyche takes over from Lampard.
It's very true when they're the Championship. Yeah. So that's me being popular again. But yeah, it's about time.
Martin Terrier from Rennes is a good player. But I don't think he's going to be one that leaves France this season. Because if he does well, if he carries on doing well for Rennes in the lead up to the World Cup, he might get in with a shout of making the squad. If he moves to Liverpool this summer, then he's not going to the World Cup. And for players like that, I think he's that could be a factor. No, I think we're done. Personally, I think we're done in the window. Unless an offer comes in for Naby or he makes it known that he's not going to extend.
Because I get a feeling if Ox says he wants to go, I think they'll let him go, and I'm not sure they'll replace him.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's those kind of things that need to happen first. I don't think we're going to actively look to do something unless the window opens up and a pathway to a young superstar.
Because I don't see Liverpool bringing someone in, and then they go to someone like an Ox or you're frozen out,
Yeah,
which has happened to players where they're frozen out. Either if we can't shift you, we'll just leave you in the reserves for you. It really happens. And clubs that do it long term, it's not the best idea anyway. No. So,
you can tell how good things are within the squad at the minute. That not a single word or peep about injuries or disharmony or infighting or anything is getting out to any journalist anywhere. And there are journalists over there.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? There are Liverpool journalists over there watching this stuff and nothing is getting out. Absolutely zero. So if there's any kind of disharmony in a squad, you see what happens. You guys have been around. You guys in the chat, you watch as much football as we do. You know what happens when things start to go sideways within the squad.
Oh, everyone and his dog tells what's going on.
Exactly. So, Jonathan, any truth to the Bobby rumours to Juventus? I think that would have been a really interesting conversation.
20 million was the rumour, isn't
it? If we were having that conversation at the very beginning of the window. I think it's too late into the window now for.
Because for 20 million,
what's the point?
At 20 million, who are you going to get? What you like is getting now is a young project. I don't think what a young project at the front. I think Liverpool would rather keep him for the season and look, you've done 7. Is it 7 years he's done?
Yeah, something like
7 years.
6, 7 years. But you look at what we did with Genie and I'm convinced this is what happened with Genie as well. I'm convinced of this. That he was offered a contract. He didn't want to take it. Fine. He's a professional. Klopp and him said, right, okay, give me the year. Go and do what you want to do after that. You can go on a free. You get your big signing bonus, whatever. But just give us the year.
And it's not worked out well for him.
It's not worked out well for him.
He went to a basket case of a club. That's more.
Yeah, that's more on him. He could have gone to the other basket club. But I'm convinced that what we've done with Bobby is the same. That this look. Give us the year, play out your skin. You'll get a big signing bonus for any club that you want to go to, and you'll have your pick of the litter. You can pretty much pick wherever you want to go. If we want to do a rolling 12-month contract, I think that option will be there for him. But it's too late in the day now to be entertaining.
I could see Liverpool offering Bobby a 2-year contract if the first 6 months of the season go well in terms of his fitness. I think that's the only question around him is fitness. Because there's a squad option. I'm sound with him as a squad option. I don't think he'll ever be a regular starter. I don't think that's fine because I don't think he should. I don't think he should be a regular starter now. But I think as a squad option to rotate in, rotate out, I think he gives you what you want. He gives you something a bit different. But I think if we have 6 months, we can prove his fitness, as in he doesn't really pick up because I think he picked up 3 or 4 hamstring/groin injuries last year. I think that was the issue, which is a shame. LFC said, little disappointed not to have seen Nunez in the second half with the other bigger players against the low block. It would have been, but again, I think this is just more about minutes and legs more than anything else. And probably indicates to me that I think
I don't know.
Bonks is saying apparently Genie's gone to Roma.
So, yeah, I think that was on the cards. Yeah, did you see the intro that Roma gave for Dybala?
No. Oh, I know what you're going to talk about, though. Also.
Yeah, they I think it was on the Palazzo in Rome, where they literally just barricaded it off, loads of lights up on it, and he was just sat there, and you had tens of thousands of Roma fans sat there just singing Roma songs. It was lovely. It was really, really good. You know,
the best one did you see? Do you have the fellow that West Ham signed, the Italian? Have you seen the release video?
Scamacca, yeah.
Oh, if you've not seen it, people of a certain age, if you remember Channel 4's Golazzo, they've just basically plagiarized the Golazzo intro for this fella.
It is quality.
Oh, it's genius.
I'll tell you what, though. That's all of the money for him. That's all of the money for him on the back of one good season with Sassuolo.
Yeah.
You know,
haven't they got Brozier? Haven't they got Brozier as well? Or are they getting Brozier?
I don't know.
If they got him, they've got Brozier and they've got Antonio. At least that gives them options, because the problem they had last year was it was Antonio or nothing. And look, Antonio's a good player, but he does pick up a lot of muscle injuries.
Well, yeah, he's 31, 32 now. So
31, 32 as well. So you've got to sort of plan exclusively for it. So
what's people's views on Martinez joining Man United? Tom Boland.
This the centre back.
The view down is pretty good. You know, you can see. Look, Tom. Honestly, I think that he gives. I'll take a Liverpool hat off for a sec. He gives United options. He can play He can play as a holding mid. He can play left back. He can play left of a back three, which is something. And he can carry the ball, which I'd be interested, because he's done it before, Ten Hag, when he was at Ajax, and he's played a back three. And I know he hasn't done it in pre-season, but I think you look at the players that they have available to them, I wonder if it's something that he's looking at as playing a 3-4-3 and playing with basically with a back five, playing 5-4-1 and countering with pace. It's going to be interesting to see. I think he's a typical Argentinian centre back, where he takes no nonsense, and people take the mid because he's short, but he's not in Fabio Carvalho or Cannavaro's league. But I've seen Javier Mascherano as another one. Seen plenty of short centre backs do a good job. You know, he's another one. They've overpaid for him, but he's a good player. You know, he is a good player.
Let's stay with the exclusive. Bobby to Fulham. He'll go down on Friday and come back after the game, most probably. There you go. That's the sort of dynamite exclusives you get with us too. So rest of the week, day off tomorrow, assume Thursday.
Yeah. I don't know if there might be something tomorrow. There might be.
Keep your eye out, though. I'm sure.
Yeah, keep your eye out. There might be something tomorrow. I'm not massively sure, but I know Friday we've got a show.
New show
on Friday.
New show. Got 2 guests on. We've got 2 trippers on. And I've been relegated out, so you know that's how it goes, really. Steve's got his wish.
He's gone on a jolly to London for the weekend, so
I'm just knackered, mate. So to be honest, I was quite happy to let you and Luke take the opening show. I will be back the following week, probably me and Luke, and then I'm on holiday, so not bothered then. And I'm frantically starting to work now and trying to get some guests to try and talk some more women's football for the first season back in the Super League, which will be grand. I'm just hoping for one more signing for the women's team. I'd be quite happy. Ironically, we would also like a central midfielder for Liverpool's women's team as well. So we'll have a fight to see who gets the central midfielder. Will it be the women's team? Will it be the men's team?
One thing, Bobby's Wish to Walk is the charity that we're pushing massively. He's over the 100,000, which it is steaming along. But all help is greatly appreciated. The link is in the description. You guys know what to do. Share it. You know, if you can donate, fantastic. If you can't donate, please share it and just do what you can. Do what you do. You know, it's what you guys do are brilliant at doing. Just knock it out of the park. And that's that for that.
Right, Kev. It's 11:15. Should we let everyone go?
Yeah, we let everyone go.
We took 4 So we talked 4 hours about a friendly. So we'll probably be back, you and me, mate, on Saturday when we talk about another friendly against Manchester City, where you get a little shield.
Is it a friendly though? Is it a friendly? Is it? It's a friendly if you lose it. It's not friendly if you win it.
It's a friendly if you win it. To be honest,
I just want to win it. I do. I just want to win it.
I view it as I always do. It's a nice to have, but it doesn't make or define your season if you don't win the league. If you don't win the Charity Shield, it's just a nice to have. It is nice to have. But I mean, listen, you know, there's 2 ways to look at it. We've lost 2 Charity Shields now with Klopp. 1 year we won the league. The other year we lost a lot of centre back. So you know, who knows what's going to happen with this one?
Yeah, it'll be a madness.
It will be. Until then, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you all very, very soon.